she's there with, and
You might want to hold that thought.
yeah, I will.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're waiting for people to come in here real quick. But we are gonna get started here. Tonight is all about the High Republic, which is
We never
something
talk about the High Republic.
we hate the High Republic around here.
The woke Republic.
The woke republic, that's what we call it, because nowadays, if you go woke, you go broke,
That's what they
essentially.
say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The woke republic is doing terrible, by the way, everybody. It has not been on bestseller lists.
No,
uh
never.
it was not featured in Jedi Survivor. It
Never.
was
No.
not. It's not becoming a TV show, a live action TV show, and it
Yeah, they
hasn't
never
been.
made a cartoon with it.
No,
Yeah, no.
no, no, no.
So since nobody knows about it, I think we have free reign to talk about it.
We do, and bash it as much as possible.
All
It's
right, I
really
feel
hard
like
to
this
say this
bit
with a
has
straight
gone
face.
on, yeah, as long as I can stomach.
We love the High Republic. What are we talking about? Leah, welcome
Literally in
back.
the name of this. Yeah,
Yeah, literally the name of
happy to
this is
be
High
here.
Republic Special, and yeah, we're
Yeah.
bashing it. Yeah, shame. It had such potential. It did. It really did. But here we are
Um,
mourning the loss of I don't even know where I'm going with this. Uh Leah, welcome
um,
back from your Hollywood stardom.
I don't know if I would say that, but yeah, I was at the uh premiere of
Yes.
the Acolyte, the first two episodes.
Oh,
Uh,
it wasn't the
at
book of Robert Fettuccini?
no, it was the first two episodes of the Acolyte
Okay.
at El Capitan Theater in Hollywood.
So,
Um, and
uh,
we'll get into it.
yeah.
Not spoilers. Don't worry. I'm
Uh,
not gonna spoil the.
no.
I mean,
No.
beyond what I was telling Eric before the show.
Yeah.
Um,
There's transitions and cuts and all that stuff. Real
Master
quick.
Soul is there.
Yeah, yes. Real quick, because I've never been to
Right.
the El Capitan. How is that as a theater experience?
So it is set up more like a. So the theater itself, we'll kind of work our way backwards
Yeah,
through the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
premiere from like the actual theater out to the
Hmm.
everything before, and we'll talk about after along with the before. We'll start with the actual showing itself. It's set
Yeah.
up more like a traditional theatrical stage,
Okay.
where there's like a couple tiers of seats, and they had all of the um, cosplayers like down in all in a big block of seats. So that when everyone had their lightsabers lit up, you'd just be a sea of lightsabers, and it was great. Um, and then behind that were like the cast and stuff, and then up top were where they had more people. The authors were mostly
Hmm.
there. Dave Filoni was there.
Yeah, I did see that.
Um,
I
yeah,
saw Jabba the Hutt was there too.
yeah, a lot of actors from the other shows were there.
Yeah.
Uh, Leah and Aryan from whose last names I don't remember off the top of my head, from the Percy Jackson series, they were both there.
Cool.
I did end up meeting a couple of them, mostly after.
Hmm.
I literally bumped into Amanda Stenberg and Manny Jacinto on my way out of the theater.
Nice.
Um, and then I, stumbling out of that, literally bumped into Aryan
Hmm.
Simhadri from Percy Jackson.
Nice.
But I didn't recognize him at first. I just knew that I didn't recognize who he was at first. I just knew that I recognized him. So like casually went into like oh, that was so good, wasn't it? And he, which is great. You know, I had a little conversation about
How do you
that.
do, fellow kids?
How do you do? Yeah, so that was good.
So the surprise celebrity that I saw that was there, um, but I absolutely love that they were there. It was Cameron. I
Yeah,
love the fact that Cameron was
I
there.
almost bumped into him, but
Oh,
Claudia Gray stepped in between us, and I bumped into her instead.
Claudia.
Basically, I'm a bumbling mess, but in a good way.
I, everybody becomes a good bumbling mess at some point.
Um, yeah,
Cameron's suit was sick.
it was sick. It was
Yeah.
sick.
Um,
Um, and
what an
then
unreal scenario. Yeah.
one thing that I loved that a lot of people did is there were a lot of like white suits with yellow ties
Hmm.
there, very intentionally High Republic.
Oh,
Alex
absolutely.
Damon, Star Wars Explained, was
Hmm.
wearing that. And I asked him like, "Is it intentionally High Republic?" And he's like, "Yes, of course it is."
Of course.
Um, yeah,
So,
very
uh,
fun.
yeah, we're gonna get to more of the premiere here in just a second. I just have a little bit
Absolutely.
of housekeeping that I have to take care of, and then we're gonna jump back into here. I, I,
Vacuum, sweep,
I'm
mop, whatever it is you need to do. Yeah.
exactly. It's just a couple of things. Two of these things, actually, both of these things are Star Wars related. So, um, we're just going to talk about that real quick. We are we're about 2 months away from Shore Leave 2024 up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It is a small science fiction convention. But it's a great small science fiction convention. And in fact, Greg Grumberg will be there, Snap Wexley himself. So I can say, I'm sorry that you died before your stepdad showed up. Um, yeah, but not only is he going to be there representing Star Wars, but uh, Ingrid Delia, who played the stand-in for Princess Leia in Rogue One, will be there as well. So
Very
get your
nice.
tickets for Shore Leave. That is going to be. I just had it. Come on. Just had it. It will be the 26th through the 28th at the Wyndham Lancaster Resort and Convention Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I used to call it Lancaster, but it's actually pronounced Lancaster. My wife kind of corrected me on that.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's got a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All I'm gonna say is Amish country about to get nerdy. That's what I'm gonna say
Do
about
I
that.
make the Weird Al Yankovic reference?
Amish paradise. It's about to become a
The Amish
nerd
Paradise is about to
paradise.
become white and nerdy.
Oh yeah, very nicely done. Very nicely done.
When will they put Weird Al in a live action Star Wars? They had him
He
in one of the Lego specials, but when will they put him in the Acolyte?
he deserves
Um,
to be in live action Star Wars. Um,
put
speaking
him
of
in
Star
Andor
Wars,
season 2.
yeah,
Just
yeah, like
tonal shift.
just as like an entertainment act in the cantina, and you know what? He can sing "The Saga Begins."
Um, so yes, what's
So another small convention, and this is our second piece of housekeeping here. Tickets are now on sale for Farpoint 2025. This is Farpoint 32, happening February 7th through the 9th at the Doubletree by Hilton in Pikesville, Maryland, literally 15 minutes away from my house. And they got two very big they got two Star Wars names here, but I will also say who the other guest is first. We have you watch Star Trek Picard, correct?
I'm familiar with it, but actually, as much as I love the Star Trek comics, the only Star Trek show that I have ever seen is the original series.
Okay. Okay.
I
This
know, I'm working backwards.
No, it's all good. So they have Michelle Forbes from Star Trek: The Next Generation and Star Trek: Picard, who is
Very
also in the
nice.
Hunger Games and Battlestar Galactica Razor and True Blood. Okay. And next up, we have Helen Sadler, who does the voice of Lego Ray in the Lego games.
Very nice.
And she was also in The Bad Batch as one of the scientists at Mount Tantus. And then
Excellent.
rounding out the guest list for right now, General Grievous himself, Matthew Wood, is making an appearance at Farpoint.
Well, that's a big one, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just
that is
Grievous
huge.
either. Didn't he also do like all of the battle droids in the Clone Wars?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's Grievous and the battle droids.
Phenomenal.
Yes. So tickets are on sale right now. They are going to be $80 for the entire $80, $85 if you pre-register now. That's for an adult weekend. That's the base ticket. $90 at the door. Uh, Teens 13 to 17, it's $50 for a base ticket, 55 at the door. And then children 5 to 12, it is $20 pre-register, $25 at the door. And I will say this, they do have a lot of children's programming at Farpoint. So,
I think it's very important when we have cons that have more focus on that demographic as
mhm,
well.
I agree. You can also buy individual day tickets. And celebrity guests may not be signing on Friday the 7th. You good? Okay. Saturday after 7 p.m. activities are part of the Saturday only ticket. The after 7 p.m. ticket is for people arriving in the evening for the masquerade costume contest, evening panels, and the 10 forward dance. Yeah. And then pre-registered attendees may add the cocktail party food buffet to their ticket at the door. So that is Farpoint 2025. I'm going to shut up about that now, and we're going to dive into more of the High Republic. But I figured since they had Star Wars guests, we might as well talk Star Wars.
Absolutely. Can I just circle back for 1 second to a comment
Sure.
that we got, which was suggesting Weird Al in Young Jedi Adventures? I
Yes,
would love that.
I
I would
agree.
love that. And speaking of Young Jedi Adventures, I love that the way that we find out that there are going to be more episodes of it is that um, someone from the crew posted about being very excited about having more Raxlow lines getting recorded.
Yes.
Um, oh, why not both? Why not?
Why not
Why
both?
couldn't he be both a Jedi and a performer? I
I
think
would
there's
love
space
that.
for that in the Jedi Order.
Technically, Lego Obi-Wan was a Jedi and a performer too, because he did sing that song in the
Wasn't
same.
wasn't one of the examples of like a Jedi who became a way seeker a Jedi who like went on to become a big
Mhm.
music star on Alderaan or something?
Yeah, that was in
What if that's Weird Al?
that would be amazing. I believe it was either Daniel or Alyssa that talked about that. Or it might have
Either
been
way,
Christina. I don't know. A lot of those stories are running together. In a good way. In a good way.
yeah,
Yeah. So you saw the first two episodes of The Acolyte.
yes,
Spoiler free thoughts. Did you enjoy it?
absolute. I loved it. I can't
Okay.
wait to watch them again.
Nice.
Um, yeah, they were fantastic. Um, I thought the pacing was great. I thought the effects were phenomenal.
Hmm.
I think the acting is really good.
Um
I think the cast is just phenomenal in general. So that's
It's a
not a surprise.
stacked cast. It is a stacked
Um,
cast.
yeah,
So,
and it it
no,
it is simultaneously everything that I hoped for and not what I expected in
okay,
the
very
best
cool.
way.
Very cool, very cool. Um, I know this isn't this isn't a spoiler question, because I'm not gonna ask any spoiler things because I don't want to be spoiled. Nobody wants to be spoiled. This thing is we're less than 2 weeks away now from this
Yeah.
thing. We can hold it. One of my questions is, um, do they use a lot of practical effects and sets in this?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool,
I
cool,
I
cool.
I could immediately tell that they
Yeah,
were.
good,
And it works really well, I
good,
think.
good.
There were some things where I would have a moment of like, how are they doing that? Because it does
Mhm.
not look like screened in. It does not look, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
which excellent.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else that you want to share from the premiere?
Like from the showing itself or from like
No,
the
just your
general.
experience.
I mean, I had a great time. There were a bunch of High Republic cosplayers specifically. There were a bunch more just general Jedi
Yeah.
cosplayers. Um, and a bunch of non-cosplayers as well. Got to meet a bunch of people, got to see a bunch of people who I've seen before again. Um, Marie, who's a big High Republic cosplayer,
Yes.
her Avar Chris was the first High Republic cosplay that was approved for Rebel Legion.
Hmm.
Also, there was Caitlin, who is the person who was the judge of Marie's Rebel Legion cosplay. Um, bunch more High Republic cosplayers.
Yeah.
Bunch of Saber Guild people.
Hmm.
Um, bunch of Star Wars influencers and such.
Oh yeah.
They had a bunch of the lightsaber props from the show on display, as
Hmm.
well as May's like purple assassin garb that we saw in like all of the trailers and previews, which is excellent.
Hmm.
So every single cosplayer was like taking a ton of photos of it, like from every
Of
angle.
course. Of course.
uh, um, and yeah, a bunch of good photos happening, bunch of good conversations happening. I
Yeah.
finally got to catch and talk to Tessa Gratton when they arrived.
Nice.
Um, one of the few High Republic authors who I had not met before
Hmm.
in person. Um, but also there were Alyssa Wong, Daniel Jose Older, Zoraida Cordova, um,
Dr. Kang.
Dr. Lydia Kang, uh, who else? Claudia Gray,
Charles.
Charles Soule, um, and then Kristen Baver and Christina Ariel
Hmm.
and Mike Siglain were also all there. Um, just and it was great that they brought them in,
Hmm.
because like I know that the way that it worked out is Headland made her pitch to Lucasfilm and was like, I want it to be like multiple hundred years before the
Hmm.
movies. And at the same time, they were developing the High Republic, so they were like,
Hmm.
"You're not going to believe this. We're already working on this." Um, so I know that it was just a happy accident that it ended up all working together,
Yeah.
but with the inclusion of Vernestra Rowe, with I'll call this a teaser, not a spoiler. The inclusion of maybe some other things
Hmm.
from the High Republic. Um, it it's very clear that there was a lot of back and forth,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is very exciting. And I'm
Yeah.
really glad that they brought the other half of that equation there as well.
Hmm. So speaking of the authors being there, I saw a photo of all of them there, and
Yeah,
then I believe it was Jake Bartok.
Jake
Uh,
Bartok edited
yeah,
in holograms of Kevin, George, and Justina,
Yeah.
which was so funny, so
Yeah.
excellent. They are the Jedi Council to
They
me.
really are. They really
Um,
are.
and yeah, it was excellent. They
Hmm.
were all very excited to be there.
Oh yeah.
Um, People were very excited to see them.
Hmm.
Not just the High Republic cosplayers, like a lot of the people there had read the High Republic books,
Hmm.
or had at least read some of them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was just excellent. It was great.
I'm honestly, I am so happy for you because that's just awesome. And
Yeah,
if I knew anybody that deserved to go to that premiere, it was you. Like seriously.
I feel very lucky that I got the invite because
Mhm.
pretty much every other cosplayer who I know got the invite was either Rebel Legion
Yeah.
or Saber Guild.
Hmm.
So like, so people would ask me like, "Oh, are you Rebel Legion or are you Saber Guild?" And I was like, "I'm just happy to be here."
Perfect answer.
um, and yeah, it was great. Got a lot of compliments on my
Yeah.
cosplay, to which I would say I made this in a week.
It looked great.
Before this, and then they would say, "Well, you don't have to brag about it." But
No, seriously, it
yeah,
looked great. It looked
thank
fantastic.
you.
Absolutely looked
Um,
fantastic.
I've been sewing since I was small, so I should hope that at least it's okay.
It
Um,
was more than okay.
yeah. The cloak was made of a indoor-outdoor curtain that I got from a thrift store. So hypothetically, it should be waterproof. So it's actually a functional cloak.
So, okay. So since we're talking costuming, right? So, on the 8th, my wife and I are doing another troop for another Star Wars night,
Yes.
and I'm doing now I'm going to be Porter, but I'm not going to be Porter because I won't have the face makeup or the
Right.
face prosthetics. But I'm doing Porter inspired robes. Most actually all of the robes thrifted from like bed sheets and curtains and stuff.
Phenomenal.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's the way to do it. Like if you
That
want
is the way to do it.
yeah, and I am so happy my wife is talented and amazing and she's she's actually doing the tunic with the rolled up sleeves like Porter has,
Yeah.
which oh, it's my favorite bit of the costume because it just shows like
Yeah.
he's a no nonsense like Jedi and willing to get his
I
hands
I
dirty.
think Porter's got a very good look to
He
him.
does.
I really like his look.
Yeah.
Um, Going back to the Acolyte, I really
Yeah.
like the costuming in the Acolyte. Not just the ones that we've seen,
Hmm.
though. All of the Jedi outfits that we saw from the trailers and stuff are great.
Yeah.
But other outfits that are like appearing in the show, wow,
I can't wait.
wow. Yeah. Also, I can't believe I haven't mentioned Jord Fandar.
So
Throwing that out there. Love him.
Yord is played by an actor that played a character on Chicago Fire that I
Yes.
couldn't stand until like the end of his run in that show. But he's an amazing actor. He's a
Right.
fantastic actor.
I He's great. He's
Yeah.
great. So it's I mean, they all are, but
Yeah.
I think Jord and Soul are the two who were the most like I did not see these characters sticking in my brain as much as they are, but they are, and you'll see
Tell yeah.
why.
Oh,
Oh, did
you
I
you
blip out?
you cut out for a
Sorry.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Um, so let's John also says, I'll pay you for a rope. Um,
I don't
not
know if
you.
I'm at that level yet, but
Um, so you mentioned Tessa Gratton. Let's
yes,
talk about a little thing that Star Wars gave us this week.
a little gift, a little cherry on top.
Yes, and that is an excerpt from Tessa Gratton's adult High Republic novel, Temptation of the Force, which this looks like the cover of this looks like a Harlequin romance, and I am here for it.
So with this book, Tessa will have written all three types of books that the High Republic does. We just need to get them on a comic.
Hmm.
Uh, and an audio drama, I guess. Whatever.
I could
Either
see
way,
them. I could see them do a comic if they do like another annual, like they did for Phase One,
yeah.
with like all the writers. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. So, Temptation of the Force. Everyone already was looking at this, even from before we had the cover. Like, this is gonna be the Elvar book, right? This is gonna be the Elzar Man and Avar Kriss book.
Hmm.
Um, Especially since it is Tessa Gratton. And for anyone who is
Hmm.
not aware of Tessa Gratton, Tessa writes a lot of romance heavy books. And they're excellent. Highly
Hmm.
recommend. Um, and writes them really, really well.
I agree.
Um, so I, for one, am excited. And I never really thought about Elvar as a couple beyond like, yeah, they were a thing and it's canon and
Hmm.
whatever. Until Eye of Darkness.
Hmm.
And then when I read Eye of Darkness, I was suddenly like, I get it now.
Hmm.
I understand.
It's all clicking
Um,
into place.
all clicking into place. So now I've gone back and just reread Light of the Jedi and was like, with that in mind, and I'm like, oh, I see why everyone's been going feral for the past
Hmm.
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: just the tension in this excerpt that we get alone.
The tension in this excerpt, the characterization in this excerpt,
Hmm.
the are we talking events of the excerpt or just uh
I mean, you
vibes?
can talk events of the
Yeah.
excerpt. Absolutely.
I So one thing that I don't know if it was so much bothering me, it's just something that I noticed, was that Stellan Gios was just kiss already. Yeah.
I gotta highlight
Um
this comment.
they should. Um
Yes.
it's been a year. They need to warm back up.
Hmm.
But Stellan Gios has been haunting the narrative since The
He
Fallen
has.
Star.
He has.
Um which, like, I'm glad his death has weight.
Hmm.
Um but he'd been mostly haunting the narrative as like this idea, this ideal, this, oh, I'll never, like, I have to live up to what Stellan was,
Hmm.
or oh, I have to live up to what he would have wanted for
Hmm.
me as his former Padawan. Oh, I have to live up to the space that he left behind in the Jedi Order. What we
Yeah.
hadn't gotten a lot of is like him haunting the narrative as a person.
Hmm.
So like Orla's death haunted the book that came after it pretty much entirely as a person, just because
Hmm.
like her very good friend had to deal with that and
Yeah.
did not deal with it well. And now we're finally getting a lot of that with this. It seems like it is focused. We had that moment of how Stellan's absence affects them on a very personal level, not on like a, oh no, a great Jedi is dead, oh no, a person I
Hmm.
looked up to is dead, oh no, our best friend is dead.
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
and I think that is important, and I am excited for more of it in the book.
I I love the fact that you talked about um Stellan haunting Avar and Elzar, and especially like Elzar kind of gets haunted by Stellan in Eye of Darkness because he's the one
Oh yeah.
meeting with Chancellor So.
But again, a
And
lot of that is more so Stellan as like the person who was the liaison with the
yeah,
Chancellor, Stellan
yeah,
as the council member, Stellan
yeah.
as the great Jedi who he was.
Mhm.
but it doesn't focus as much on what Stellan meant to Elzar beyond like person who I look up to and admire.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, it's this is not to like, rain on Eye of Darkness. Eye of Darkness was a fantastic book, and I have
Oh, it
reread it
is.
more than once.
Yeah,
It is great.
yeah.
But it's focusing on different things, and
Mhm,
this seems to be very much focusing on these kind of personal things.
mhm.
Obviously, I haven't read beyond this excerpt,
Yeah,
but if the rest of the book is this level of kind of a personal story, then I'll be
mhm.
very happy because I know
Eh,
Tessa does stories like that very, very well.
mhm. I think where Tessa succeeds in their writing is definitely in the small moments, the character moments, the quiet moments. You really get to see. I mean, Tessa's writing is fantastic, regardless,
Yeah,
whether they're writing an action sequence or any type of dialogue. But to me, it's the small moments that we get throughout Tessa's stories that really drive home um, just how flawed these characters are, while
right,
also how they're still trying to uh hold up to the ideals of the order and hold up to the ideas um of who they're supposed to be. Sorry, I would
right.
like clarification. Phase 3 is 1 year after phase 1, and phase 2 is hundreds of years before. So
Before phase one, yeah. So
phase
it's
2 is 150.
150 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 350 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm like
No
interrupting
problem.
you a lot tonight, Leah, and I
No
apologize.
worries. Um, yeah, those are that is very much Tessa's like strong
Mhm.
suit.
Mhm.
To use one of her non Star Wars, non High Republic books as an example, the book Strange Grace has it's got this heart pounding, fantastic action sequence, and then probably more important than that is then the moment afterwards where all of the characters who were in that action sequence kind of finally get to sit down and they're just like what the hell just happened, and they're having this collective group breakdown about everything that happened in the last couple chapters. Um and not only is it like wow, I needed that as a reader, like this kind of um
Mhm.
the what's the word I'm looking for?
Reprieve.
Uh, no, come on. I'm, like debrief. Any of this
Yeah,
kind of
debrief.
debrief, like going back over what happened, going over like, okay, what do the characters remember about what happened? Because the perspective was jumping around. What
Mhm.
did they forget anything that was mentioned in the original thing? Like, because that's meaningful as well. How has this changed how they interact with each other?
Mhm.
Um, Spoilers for Strange Grace. It changes a lot
How
about
dare
how
you?
they interact with each other. Uh, um, um, yeah, it's. I'm very much looking forward to that kind of thing. Because if we do get like it's a Star Wars book, we'll probably get an
Mhm.
action sequence.
Of course.
And I'm very much looking forward to like the emotional beats bookending the action as much as
Mhm.
the action itself.
Yeah, I also like how this book is to me, because let's keep in mind the excerpt that we had is just one chapter
It's
in
just
this book,
part of one
of
chapter.
yeah, part
Yeah.
of one chapter in this book.
It's the
But
very beginning of the very beginning of the book.
yeah, but one of the things that I noticed in reading just this part of this chapter of the book is this is definitely going to start off slow. We're not getting a bang like we did with Light of the Jedi or with Eye of
Right.
Darkness or
We're not
anything like
starting
that.
off with the Legacy Run disaster.
Yeah.
We're not starting off with um 1 year after the fall of Starlight Beacon.
Yeah.
We're starting off with 2 people sharing a snack.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
and I'm excited for that because that's
Yeah.
not something that we've really had with
Mm-mm.
any of the High Republic adult novels.
No.
Flight of the Jedi starts off with Legacy Run Disaster.
Mhm.
Um, Rising Storm starts off with like all of these building preparations
Mhm.
for the fair.
Yeah.
Fallen Star starts with Stellan and Avar having their falling out.
Yeah.
Um, Convergence starts with a war restarting between Irem and Arano. Uh,
Yes.
Cataclysm starts with a war restarting between Irem and Arano.
Yes. It does.
um, Eye of Darkness starts with it's a year after Starlight Beacon,
Mhm. And
and
everybody's depressed.
everyone's sad.
Yes.
Um, and this one starts off with
A snack.
a snack, and that is so one that is so Tessa Gratton.
Mhm.
Two, that is I think really interesting because Wave One of the High Republic has been very dense events
Mhm.
wise. Um, Pretty much every book and comic that we've had has up to this point has taken place within whatever the span of time is from the start to the end of Eye of Darkness.
Mhm.
Uh, Only Defy the Storm and maybe the High Republic main title comic are going any after that. But even
Mhm.
then, it's like kind of stated to be not long after the end of Eye of Darkness.
Mhm.
So I am interested to see like, okay, how much time has passed by the start of Temptation of the Forest.
Mhm.
Because I know the gaps between the waves of Phase One were were a year from Wave One to Wave Two, and then half a year from Wave Two to Wave Three. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. It was about a year to a year and a half. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but then Wave Two, it's like less than half a year between the two phases,
Yeah, it's like
between the two waves.
3 or 4 months. Yeah.
And most of the middle of that is taken up with the Battle of Jeddah.
Which don't sleep on that story. That story is
Oh, not at all.
incredible.
But what I'm saying is
I'm
like the
not
two
saying
main
you.
waves. We have like the
Yeah.
wave, the Battle of Jeddah, and then the second wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and between those two waves, it's like maybe 3 or 4 months, just
Mhm.
long enough for Rupert Natani to have a birthday. Um,
Happy birthday,
and
Rupert.
happy birthday, Rupert Natani.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see like how long the time scale of Phase
Mhm.
3 is.
I I can see them, like, doing more time skips in this one, um, because, we're gonna get to that
Yeah,
in
we'll
a
get to
little bit,
that.
John. Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be kinda towards the end of our conversation here. Um, but I think we're gonna get some more time skips. It's probably gonna be, like, maybe 5 to 6 month increments.
Yeah, I think Temptation of the Force would be a good if it's a more slow-paced personal story.
Mhm,
I think that they could get away with having like okay, and then like we have that initial chapter, and then like 3 months later is the next time
mhm,
they see each other, and then 3 months later there's another thing, and then yeah, kind of like how the Shadows of Starlight comics
mhm.
were organized.
Yeah, and that's also how Charles wrote the oh no, how Claudia wrote the story that was set after Starlight on
Yeah.
Irem, uh,
Um, and
with
to a lesser extent, that's also how Light of the Jedi was written, where it was kind
yeah,
of like, okay, here's this, and then there's some time, and then there's this, and
mhm,
then there's some time. Because Wave 1 of the High Republic Phase 1 was also very kind of dense because a lot of
Mhm,
things happened before the Battle of Kerr or like right
mhm,
after the Battle of Kerr.
mhm.
Uh, a lot of things happened between the hyperspace disaster and the dedication of Starlight Beacon.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
no, go ahead. uh,
Including the back half of season 1 of Young Jedi Adventures, apparently.
apparently. Uh,
Which I didn't even realize this the last time I read Light of the Jedi, but I realized it this time. It says in Light of the Jedi that Yoda has come to the Starlight Beacon dedication from working with a group of Jedi younglings. And I initially thought that that was, oh, they must have changed like Lula and Farzala and Court's group from younglings to Padawans at some point in the development after this had been written. Okay, whatever. I think they might have been talking about Young Jedi Adventure,
I think so.
um, which is bonkers to me that all connects.
Nub's description in a book when.
Can Temptation of the Force should end with Avar taking Jovi as her Padawan, and with
Mhm.
Elzar taking Nubs as his Padawan,
Yes. Yeah.
and with Bell taking Kai as his Padawan,
Yes.
and Liz, we will find a master for you.
Liz gets Vernestra
Ooh,
or
see,
Imri.
I was thinking if um, I was thinking if we put Bell as Kai's master, then Zia could be Lys's master. Because I feel like
Yeah.
Zia should be one of their masters.
Yeah, Zia should be one of their masters. And actually Zia with Liz actually works really well together,
Yeah.
I think. Is
So
Young
White
Jedi
Day is
Adventure.
phase one, but it's mostly before phase one. But the end of season one of Young Jedi Adventures is the end of Light of the Jedi.
Yeah, because it's the dedication on Starlight.
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
overlap.
yeah. Um,
And there's character overlaps as well, which is
be-
one of my favorite things about Young Jedi Adventures.
yeah, because you mentioned how like a lot of wave one of phase one takes place like all within almost the same time period,
Right, within
because
the same however long it is from um, the uh, the great disaster on Hetzal to um, the Starlight Beacon dedication. And
yeah,
then even a bit after that to like when the emergences stop. Um,
yeah,
I think the latest emergence that we know of is the one on Trimant 4.
yes.
Though who knows, maybe the Kobo one was even later than that.
I'm hoping that the Kobo one was later.
I really think that the Kobo one was at some point in like
Mhm,
it was definitely after it was probably around the Battle of Kerr because by
mhm.
that point they knew that who the Nihil were and what they were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
So it has to be after this, very start of the book.
yeah.
Um, but probably before they figured out how to predict the next emergences.
Because if you look at Into the Dark is pretty much taking place during the first like half
Yeah.
of Light of the Jedi.
Um,
Um,
uh, a lot of it does, but you do get the Battle of Kerr happens
yeah,
during it, which is in the
yeah,
back half of Light of the Jedi.
yeah, mm, yeah. So it's all good.
Rip your Molly. Faye's not
Yeah,
here, so I have to fill in the Joramali
yeah, yeah,
quota.
yeah. That's true.
But yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm curious to see what the timeline is. Is basically the long and short of this last
yeah.
like long tangent.
I hope that eventually we do get like a High Republic just timelines book itself because there's so much that happens. Uh,
I
that
feel like there would be some like thing that would come out of that where everyone would be like, "What? No!"
because we still haven't even seen the siege of Bardata yet.
Yeah,
And
we haven't seen how he became the Blade of Bardata. We haven't
yeah.
seen. I don't think that the end of Phase 3 is going to be the last High Republic story we see
Oh,
by a long shot.
absolutely not. No.
I think there's a lot of room for stories between Phase 2 and 3, stories
Hmm.
before Phase 2, stories after Phase 1,
Hmm.
between Phase or after Phase 3, between Phase 3 and the Acolyte.
Oh yeah. Um, I would also love to see, and I kind of want to shift focus here to a very very lovely game, uh, this Jedi Survivor. Um, and I have to say that I would love to see Respawn do a High Republic focused game in the style of Jedi Survivor, where you
Yeah,
get Santari Kree or Dagan Gera, and
give us give us Santari Kree like a year after everything happens on Kobo, and she
mhm,
ends up stuck behind the storm wall.
that would be incredible. That would be absolutely incredible. Like, like her last stand against the Nihil or something like that.
Yeah, give us something crazy like that. I would love a Santari Kree focused game.
Hmm. Yeah.
I would also love just like in general a Survivor High Republic tie-in book or something or comic.
Yes. Hmm.
Give us some of Santari and Dagon's backstory. Give us some more context around everything with Kobo.
Hmm.
Um, maybe tie in like, oh, maybe one of those Jedi who we heard talking on, in the echoes on Kobo was Comac Vitus
Hmm.
or Lajarini or someone else.
Because
Um,
I
yeah,
also want to see the temple on Tanalore too. Like I want to see that
yeah,
thriving.
because I mean, there was work happening there. There were people there
Hmm.
before it was like formally dedicated by,
Hmm.
or supposed to be formally dedicated by Alpha Sisis. It clearly wasn't just Santari and Dagon, just the two of them making this temple. That would have taken 1,000 years.
Absolutely.
Um, and they clearly had a lot of Jedi working on this project. So like, come on, I
Hmm.
want to see it. I want to, yeah.
So I want to ask this question real quick since we're talking about Kobo and Tanalore. Um, and we know like the Kobo Abyss has been around for a while, but do you think that because of the Nihil threat, the Kobo Abyss then became unnavigable or
Well, so it
unnavigatable?
is
That
established
word.
that it's unnavigable before, and
That's
that's
right.
why
That's right.
only Dagon can do it.
Yeah.
Um, Dagon, maybe the last of the Jedi Pathfinders,
Hmm.
if you think about it.
Uh-huh.
Um, Dagon would love having a conversation with Porter Angle. Uh,
I'm sure they knew each other.
I'm sure as is well established in Eye of Darkness, Porter knows everyone. Uh,
Porter knows a lot of people.
um, but yeah, so I
I forgot about that tidbit though about the
yeah. What I
abyss.
do think is tie you could totally tie Kobo and the Kobo Abyss and Tanalore into my magic sauce planet theory, which spans across the High Republic, the prequels, etc. Where you've got like, okay, you've got Planet X, you've
Hmm.
got Everon, you've got um Tanalore, you've
Hmm.
got uh Lenara in Padawan. You've got
Hmm.
all these planets with unnavigable space around them. Um, what's up with that? Maybe they're all connected.
What up with
And then you've got Lenara and probably Planet X and then Naboo that all have like some kind of magic sauce inside of them. And and Dathomir as well,
Yeah.
to connect in with the Jedi series. They got magic sauce. They got something weird inside of them that
Hmm.
makes these planets important. I don't know. I'm still workshopping it since we now know more about like the path of the open hand and
Yeah.
all of that since I
Oh,
first formulated this
well,
whole cork
we
board.
can contact Vince Zampella and the team over at Respawn about our ideas and see if we can pitch this. Um, because Jedi 3 is coming.
I know this is a total sidebar, but do we think that the High Republic's going to show up in that as well, or do we think it'll be something else?
I'm hoping High Republic shows up in it because I really feel like Cal's not done with that era.
I feel like he has things to learn
Hmm.
left from it.
Yeah.
Um, but whatever we get, I'm sure I'm going to love it. Do What do you think the title of it is going to be?
The
Because I have this
third
very
Jedi
strong
game?
idea in my head of what I think the title should be,
Uh Jedi
or what I think.
Redemption.
I have this very strong idea of what I think. Like, if they do another book between the two, I think they should call a book Star Wars Jedi Ghost Star.
Okay.
Um, but I feel like whatever title we get, it's gonna be something related. It's gonna be, obviously something like that, but it is also going to be something that was like a prominent line in Survivor
Jedi Legacy. Yeah.
because Kel and Marin having their whole like we're survivors, we adapt speech
Yeah.
is like a very important moment in Fallen Order, and then the
Yes.
next game is called Survivor. So I keep thinking like, what is the important moment? What is the moment where like um the kind of thesis statement of what this game was,
Hmm.
and then what's it going to be? And I don't know. I'll
I
see. I'll see on this as I continue my replay of it. Like, what is the thesis statement of this game?
oh, by the way, 155 gigs to go on my PlayStation.
Yeah, that sounds. Let me
Yeah.
see what it was um
Not complaining.
on PC. Um,
Not complaining because it's worth it.
it's 130 on PC, so I don't know
Yeah.
what the extra 25 are for you.
It was for Xbox Series S. It was over 100 also. Um
Yeah,
yeah. Those are Call of Duty numbers at that point. But
I.
anyway.
It is so funny looking at the different sizes of games, like
Hmm.
the games that I just have in my like Steam library. Because like, okay, Fallen Order 130, or sorry, Survivor 130, Fallen Order 56,
Yeah.
and then like I don't know what's my favorite game that's in here.
Well, keep in mind though, the maps in Survivor were a lot bigger than the ones in Fallen Order.
My favorite game that I have in my Steam, Cloudpunk 14.6.
Nice, nice. The smallest game that I have on my PlayStation right now is the remake of Star Ocean First Departure, and that's like 5 gigs.
Oh, I'm sure I've got something smaller. Let's see. Let's see. Among Us is 657 megabytes.
Ah, well,
Ah,
there you
Elder
go.
Scrolls Arena 105 megabytes.
Oh yeah, because that was a real small one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is funny because it's got the biggest map of any Elder Scrolls game.
It does. It really does. That's what the 156 is. It's just the map. It's not the content.
Just the map.
Yeah. Um but yeah, like I would love to see Respawn do a High Republic game or a series of High Republic games, um, because honestly they really have a special franchise on their hands here. You know, we mentioned
Yeah,
Cameron earlier. Um, I honestly feel that Cal Kestis is one of the best characters to ever come to Star Wars. Him and
he's
Marin.
such an interesting character. He's
Hmm.
got so much to go. He's got so much learning left to do.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
And
I'm very
Marin,
happy that he knows about the High Republic.
yes, and it happened to be a droid that helped him out with learning the High Republic.
We love
Uh,
droids.
yes. So let's move on here. So we covered a little bit of phase one, we covered a little bit of phase three, because let's face it, we haven't had a lot in phase. I mean, we've had a lot in phase three, but like we haven't had a lot in phase three yet.
Yeah, we've just had one wave.
Yeah. But you know, the summer is going to kick off, or this is going to kick off wave two with Temptation of the Force, and then we're going to get some more stuff this summer.
Yeah.
We are
And wave
getting volume.
2 is bringing us a lot. It's bringing us the end of the main comic run,
Yes.
which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Because yeah,
think I know what that means. I think I know what it means that the main comic run is ending.
that's when we're going to see Keeve leave.
I think that's when Keeve becomes Leave.
Yeah.
Leave Trennis.
Leave Trennis. Yeah, because we have to see her become one of the Lost 20.
Um, which is so. I love that she, going into the High Republic, was one of the only characters who we knew where she ended up.
Hmm.
And now I guess Vernestra is the other one. Not counting like the old ones like Yoda, Yariel, and Appo.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, um, I have a feeling we're just going to get a bunch of mini series towards the end of this
I think
phase.
yeah. I think they're starting that off with oh, what is it called? The one that Jake Bartok did the cover for.
Oh, it wasn't the transmissions, it was the other one. Yeah, because it's like a Sith on the cover.
Oh, we're thinking of different ones.
Oh no.
Um
I know the one that you're talking about because I saw it. Yes, Keeve is well. Keeve was Skier's apprentice. Keeve is now a master, because of things.
Keeve is now a master, and we're pretty sure that this is why it they're gonna be like, maybe we should not have another 22-year-old Jedi Master. Maybe
Anakin Skywalker.
yeah. um all right, so I was talking about Tales from the Occlusion Zone.
That's right. That's the one
Or I'm
that he
sorry,
did.
that's Dr. Kang's.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah.
one. Come on, what is it? What is it called? Alyssa Wong is writing it. Maybe I
That's
can.
right. Let me go to Jake's Schwitter.
Sorry for this total digression of us like looking around. It will happen again.
He is doing. Where are you? I know it's here. Oh, he also did the wraparound for Star Trek 500, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here.
He
Okay.
is doing dispatches from the occlusion zone. Yes.
Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's the
And
one that
Echoes of
Daniel's
Fear
writing.
is the other
Yeah.
one.
Yes, yes. Echoes of Fear, which I'm really excited for Echoes of Fear. That one's going to be pretty cool too.
Yeah. And yeah, but we've got Tempest Breaker also at the end of wave 2.
Oh, yes.
which is so exciting. I love Lorna D.
Hmm. Any extra Lorna D stories, I'm all for. I really am.
I think it's very neat that Lorna D became one of the like standout characters of the High
Hmm.
Republic.
I agree.
Um, because I mean everyone likes a Twi'lek. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah,
especially a green Twi'lek.
especially a green Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'm excited for that story. I'm also really excited. I'm really excited for Wave 2 in general,
Hmm.
honestly. Because we've got Temptation of the Force,
Hmm.
which just yes. Um, we've got uh the end of Saber for Hire,
Hmm.
which is very interesting.
Hmm.
We've got um
We have Tears of the Nameless and Beware the
Tears of
Nameless.
the Nameless and Beware the Nameless. Tears of the Nameless, which has my boy Amadeo Azazo. Um,
And my boy
Beware the
Wreath.
Nameless, Beware the Nameless, which has my boy Churro and my boy
Churro the
Hildo.
Hutt. Yes.
Um, it's also I think that's when the next Edge of Balance is supposed to come out.
Yes, Edge of
Is
Balance
during Wave
3
2.
is in August. Yes. And that
That's
is,
creeping up on us.
yeah, and that's Arkoff on the cover, which I think is awesome.
I love Arkoff. Yeah,
Edge of Balance Precedence is one of my favorite Star Wars stories.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Um, all of the Edge of Balances are really good.
Yeah, they are.
Um, but yeah,
And and they're quick reads too. They're
they're
very
quick
quick
reads. They're
reads.
solid.
Hmm.
They're gorgeous.
Oh,
All of the characters are just so like you pick up who they are so fast, and they're so
hmm.
compelling. I hope we get to see Vivnia and Nima again.
Hmm.
Um,
I just want to see Lily again.
I want to see Lily again too. I'd love to see Kieran again, but
Yeah.
um,
Don't get attached, people. Don't get
don't get
attached.
attached. It's the High Republic.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Um.
Wave 2
So
is looking like it's going to be real good, and I'm sure we'll
yes.
get even more announcements because I think. Let me check Wikipedia, but I think the only things that are announced for Wave 3 right now are the 3 books.
Yeah, because it's gonna end with Trials of the Jedi from Charles.
Yeah,
Um. But I'm really hoping that in Wave 2 we get Broken Blade as well.
yeah. I could also see them putting that in Wave 3 as like
Yeah.
a um, I don't know, Porter
But
follow up.
honestly, like,
Even though I don't
uh,
think he's dead yet.
no, I don't think he's dead either. Um,
Porter Angle,
uh,
he would die on page, not
oh,
implied death off screen.
oh no, no, no. He is not doing the Leia Poppins thing. He's not doing that. I
I mean, I
jokingly
think
say
he is
Leia
doing that.
Poppins. Oh
I
yeah.
think he is doing that. In fact, I think that's how he manages to not die off screen.
I'm not making fun of the Leia in space thing from The Last Jedi. I love that
I
sequence so much.
I do like that has that's become something that gets actually referenced a fair bit and used
Hmm.
a fair bit in the High Republic.
Yes. Yes.
Um, we had in High Republic Adventures with the Prison Break arc,
Yeah.
they were like, all right, Jedi can survive and they can do a little bit better in vacuum than the
Hmm.
average non-force sensitive, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They know to exhale right
Yeah.
when the vacuum hits.
Yeah.
They have the
Uh,
willpower to not go unconscious,
yes.
so they
Uh,
can help other people.
that is true. John says, "What does it mean? Don't get attached. Just don't get attached to any
Mm,
characters."
the path to
That's
the
all.
dark side attachment is.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you,
What it
Yoda.
really means is that
The lobber's coming for you. That's what it means.
what it really means is that I mean, I know the High Republic has a reputation for killing off characters. Has it really killed off that many characters? I don't know, but it has killed off a lot of fan favorite characters, which is really what it is.
I think the body count is more of like background people than it is like main characters.
But the main characters who have died have been devastating.
Absolutely. I'm looking at you, Loden.
Can we talk about how Bell's voice was cracking and it sounded like he had been crying when the kids greeted him in Young Jedi Adventures season finale?
Yeah. Bell's singing
What?
Poodoo. Bella's singing, I'm gonna cry until I have no tears left, am I?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
basically my experience with Path of Deceit, especially. Um,
Oh.
and Light of the Jedi.
Mhm.
On rereading Light of the Jedi, the entire like first act over Hetzal, I was from the moment that it was this is Jedi Master Avar Chris, help is on the way. I was like, oh,
The so the first time I read it, I did get emotional with that, but like I got more emotional with the scene with Buryaga and the kid who survived
that
the
one
the
too.
legacy
Yeah,
run, and
yeah.
how the kid was like, it's all my fault, it's all my fault, and then Buryaga just gives him the biggest hug, and he's pretty much telling the kid like, no, it's not your fault, everything's
But of course,
okay.
the kid doesn't speak Shriwook, so he just hears.
Pretty much. He's like, why is this guy yelling at me?
um, yeah, Light of the Jedi is most of the High Republic books are books that I've been able to just sit down and just slam my way through them because it's so
Mhm.
good. So when I
um
first read Light of the Jedi, I read it in one sitting.
oh
The
yeah.
day that it came out, I had been waiting for it.
Hmm.
Um, I've been a High Republic fan since day one. I just wasn't in the fandom
We
until
all
Midnight
have.
Horizon.
Which that's a great place to get into the fandom, by the way. Midnight
Oh yeah, it was
Horizon.
right
Oh yeah.
before Celebration Anaheim.
Hmm.
It was a great time.
Yeah. Um, but like I do have to say, these writers really know how to get us with these emotional beats. But that's just a testament to all the luminous authors, because if you
Oh,
look at
so
it like every single piece of High Republic media, um, whether it be a book or a comic or the manga or even Young Jedi Adventures, have fist pumping moments of just awesomeness, right? Like,
yeah, they have the they have the we will move it.
mhm,
Um they have the um defeating the Drengir. They have
mhm.
um the wedding of Ziri and Fontu.
I love that wedding so much. Oh, quick side note with that. Quick side note with that. Did you ever read the Union comic from Legends with Luke
No.
and Mara Jade getting married?
No, I have not.
Their wedding gets attacked, and or like the outside of the church gets attacked, so it's up to the groomsmen to stop these swoop bike people and like marauders from like attacking the wedding. And I as I'm reading Convergence and reading the wedding in Convergence, I'm like, they took this from Union and I am here for this at every
I
step of the way.
I have loved all of the Legends things that have been sprinkled into the High Republic.
Yes. um so I wanna ask this real quick, because John did ask this, and I think this is a really good time to ask this question now. Favorite phase of the High Republic so far?
That is a hard question to answer
Hmm.
because I like them. I like them all for different
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
Um, So phase 2 was the first one that I was like interacting with other fans as it was coming out.
Mhm.
Also,
Also,
what
what
wave?
wave?
That
Oof.
is a double interesting question. Um, all right, let me think.
Mhm,
So I love phase 2. I think
mhm,
it might be my favorite phase. That
mhm,
being said, um, phase 3 is really doing good things for me right
mhm,
now.
mhm,
Um, and of phase 2, I would say I think I actually prefer wave 2 overall.
mhm,
Um, though I don't know where to count like everything that happens around the Battle of Jeddah.
Yeah, because I
And you know what?
kinda
The Battle of Jeddah is my favorite wave of phase 2.
mhm. And I would call that, like, wave 1.5.
Right,
Yeah.
because it includes both comic runs.
Mhm,
Both comic runs also center on the Battle of Jeddah,
mhm,
and obviously the book Battle of Jeddah,
mhm,
or the audio drama Battle of Jeddah, and it also strongly influences everything in Wave 2, like, a
mhm,
lot.
mhm.
Um, yeah, the Battle of Jeddah is my favorite wave of Phase 2.
So, for me, I'm actually gonna go with phase 2 being my favorite phase as well. I don't know, like, Leah, I think, like, don't get me wrong, like, I love all 3 phases of the High Republic,
Ditto.
like,
They're
I
all so
love
good.
them. But for me, I got more attached to the characters in phase 2 than I think I did with phases 1 and 3, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because all of the characters within all 3 phases are incredible characters.
Right.
But but for me, like, I love phase 2 so much because I also love the whole age of exploration that we get. I love that. Yeah.
It's
Um
Star Wars at its most Star Trek.
Yeah, it really is. I love the whole, like, we're diving more into the prospecting families and everything. Like, a Santeca and a Graph, once again, are huge characters in
Yeah.
phase 2. And and for me, I'm the same way. The whole battle for Jeddah, or Battle of Jeddah, I love just all of those stories that center around that battle so much. And that audio drama, like, I tell you, I love Tempest Runner. Like, you know how much I love Tempest
Yeah.
Runner, but Battle of Jeddah to me is, like, my favorite though, because I love I mean, not Addie Gallia, um,
Ada Forte.
Ada Forte. Sorry, I knew it started with an A. Ada Forte, and I love Crichton's son. Like, Crichton is one of my favorite characters.
And
Um,
Solandra Show.
oh my gosh.
Solandra Show, one of the greatest Jedi of all time.
Yes. And,
I want to know more about her lineage.
yes, me too. Also
I want to
the,
know where that shield went.
well, we know who got it,
Right. But
after
who
her.
got it after
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Oh, I would love to know that too.
Where is it in
Um,
phase 1?
I wanna see it
Where is
show
it
up in
in the
the
prequels?
Acolyte. I wanna see it show up in the Acolyte.
If
Um,
the shield shows up in the Acolyte,
we're gonna
I
lose our
will
minds.
I will eat my hat. I
Um, but, also the kid from the Church of the Force, um
Cat Serapath?
yes, Keth, I love him too. He's such a great character in that book. I mean, in that story. And I love his droid and the entire group from Enlightenment is fantastic.
The Enlightenment as a setting is so well done.
It is.
Phase 2 did something crazy, which was it managed to feel both like they were always exploring something new and always going somewhere that like was
Hmm.
the edge of nothing, and yet it also managed to have this perfect cozy hub
Hmm.
in a grubby bar in Jeddah City.
Yeah.
Whereas like Starlight Beacon was the hub of Phase 1,
Yeah.
which was fantastic. I loved Starlight Beacon,
I do too.
but it feels so much more disconnected from the galaxy,
It does.
whereas the Enlightenment really feels like a microcosm of the galaxy, and not just the Jedi and the Republic, but like everyone who actually lives there.
Hmm. I also have to say, like, I love the inclusion of Jeddah because we're getting the exploration of other Force beliefs and other Force religions. Um, like, give me a book all about the Church of the Force. Like, I want a book about like the founding of the Church of the Force and all that stuff.
Honestly, give me a book that centers on the Church of the Force at any time. Give me
Yeah,
a book about Lor Santeca and the Church of the Force helping Luke find more Jedi lore
I
after Revenge of the or after Return of the Jedi.
I want to write a Lore Santeca book. I really want to write a Lore Santeca book.
The Santecas are so interesting.
Even
Um,
even the Santeca in Battle of Jeddah, Morton Santeca,
yeah,
really interesting character, very interesting character. Um, Plus, I think you also hit the nail on the head where Jeddah really is a central hub in Wave Two. And I would even say like Irem and Arano are central hubs in Wave
yeah.
Two.
So I mean, each one has its own touchstone. So like
Yeah.
for the adult novels, it was I Am Arano. For the YA novels, it was Dalna, unfortunately. For
Yeah.
the middle grade novels, it was Batu, which was
Yeah.
unexpected but
Loved it.
appreciated.
Absolutely loved it.
Um, I said this with Young Jedi Adventures as well. I am shocked at how long it took for Batu to be like really integrated into other things because we had like the Galaxy's Edge tie-in books and stuff,
Hmm.
but it didn't feel as integrated into just normal stories,
Hmm.
not directly related to like Galaxy's Edge.
Hmm.
And I'm really liking seeing that now.
Yeah, I mean, it even showed up in a VR game.
Yeah,
Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Like you go to Batu in that story. And like we're gonna see. We're not done with Batu. We are not
no,
done with Batu by a long shot.
no, not at
Um,
all.
I really feel like we're going to get. Quick side note, like with Disney parks, I really think we're going to get an expansion on Galaxy's Edge, like where we're going to see more of Batu. I would love to see. I would love to see the Jedi Outpost on Batu as a place that you could explore at a Disney park. Like I think that would be fantastic to do. Going through that Rupert short story in Tales of Light and Life as she's on Batu, I I loved it. Like I had a huge smile on my face that entire story.
Can they put the shield in a tree at Galaxy's Edge?
I
Just
would
pick a
love
random
that.
tree.
I would love that because like you could do like a scavenger hunt or something where it's like try to find the shield.
Uh, I'm entirely serious that
Hmm.
between the Rupert Natani stories and Young Jedi Adventures, you could have some good things to hide around
Oh,
BSO.
oh yeah. I mean, like I said, even when I was building my lightsaber, like the one gatherer was telling me how Savi's was part of the Jedi outpost on Batu. And like the room that we were in was a Jedi sparring room. And part of me was thinking, yeah, this breaks canon just a little bit, but I don't care because it's High Republic and I'm here for it. Like,
Look, I'm fine with the idea that like there could be a secondary outpost. There could be like
Yes.
a outbuilding to the outpost, you
Yep.
know.
I agree.
I don't think it breaks that much.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe Celesta and Dro, since they were spending so much time at BSO, ended up setting up a little
Mhm.
semi-permanent secondary building there.
Which I think would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And it doesn't necessarily break canon. I was like, ah, this kind of bends it a little bit. Like it just bends it just a little bit. But I was thinking like it's not out of the realm of the possibility that they could have had multiple, like you said, multiple buildings on Batu
Right.
in like different outposts too. And it's just like a connected network. Um, but yeah, like seeing the High Republic on all of these different planets and everything, like we even got to see the Elfrona outpost in the Rise of Kylo Ren book
Yeah.
or comic book. Um,
I think we saw it there first.
we did because that was our first introduction to Avar too.
Yeah. And
Before,
I've loved as they've tied the things that were seeded before in.
mhm. Yeah, because we get the Amaxine Station in the Rise of Kylo Ren
Yep. Maxine
comic as well.
Station. Um, it's Trennis being one of the Lost 20.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Cleus Teradine.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean,
the
I mean,
Nameless.
we've had which I still think the Nameless are going to be part of the Jedi game series at some point because we see
Oh my
those Zepho
god.
husks, and I still have a feeling that that's what caused the downfall of the Zepho.
Cal Kestis Shri Karai Karai. Oh no.
Please don't. No. No, no. No. No.
Yeah, but why isn't he there in the original trilogy? Because we know why Ezra wasn't there, and we know why Ahsoka wasn't there. Why was it Cal?
Well, I don't know. I
I don't want
I
to think about it.
I don't want to think about it either. Maybe that's for Jedi 3. Um, which yeah, maybe Cal stayed on
Maybe Cal
Tanalorr.
stayed on Mandalore.
Maybe,
That would be the good ending,
maybe he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let these guys have their thing.
right?
Like,
Maybe he just stays on Tanalorr, hangs out there. Um,
Grease opens up another cantina.
New location,
Yeah,
Shattered
yeah,
Moon.
exactly, exactly. Um, I don't want him to die. Yeah, no, I don't want Cal to die either. I
But I
think
do
that
know that if they did kill him, it would be one of the best death scenes in Star Wars.
because it would be earned.
If they kill Cal and then like the last part of the game is you have to play Marin running away.
Because
I'm
then you
laughing because I'm in pain. Um
remember, Star Wars is Spain without the S.
except for Phantom Menace, then it's Speed without the A.
Yeah, yeah, it's spin.
It's a neat trick.
Yeah, that's a neat trick. Now this is pod racing. Um, what was I just gonna say?
Sorry for
No, no, you're fine.
derailing.
This is how we get almost every single time. It's fine. Um, because that's the beauty of a live show. Uh,
Yeah,
but like, yeah, I don't want to harp on the Jedi games too much, but I mean, it has a big impact with the High Republic. Like, you can't deny the fact that it was actually an introduction for a lot of people to the High Republic.
yeah.
Um,
The number of like people who DM'd me or commented
mhm,
on things that I posted and were like, "Hey, I really like the High Republic in Survivor. How do I like
mhm.
what book should I start with? Because there's a lot of them." Um,
How much do you like to cry?
You like to cry. I always direct them to Light of the Jedi first. I feel like if
Me
you
too.
read one High Republic book, it should be that one.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
me too.
and I feel like we're gonna get a lot of those again with the Acolyte. We're gonna
Oh
get a
no,
lot of
we
people
are.
being like,
We are.
"So what is Vernestra's deal?"
Mhm.
Uh,
Read a test of courage.
we're gonna get. I want to know more about XYZ thing that is a kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to talk about it in
Mhm.
the first 2 episodes. How
Mhm.
do I learn more about that? And we can be like, great news! There's this whole bunch of books and comics.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if you don't like books and comics, there's audiobooks, and they're
Mhm.
really good. And there's also audio dramas, and they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
More High Republic or even Old Republic in the Third Jedi game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
More High Republic would be great. Some Old
Yeah.
Republic would be great too. I think they're probably saving Old Republic for like doing a big Old Republic push all at once.
Oh no, they are. They are.
Um,
We're gonna get an Old Republic publishing initiative after High Republic is done.
do you think we're gonna get Old Republic first, or do you think we're gonna get like the birth of the Galactic Republic, like 1,000 years right after the Sith have fallen? Because I would kill for either of those.
So I have a feeling because Mangold's movie is one of the next movies anyway.
Right.
I could see them doing the foundation of the Republic push like around the time that Mangold's movie hits
Yeah,
because you're doing Dawn of the Jedi for his movie, which they're calling Jedi Prime. I could see them like kind of spinning off from that.
I could see them having, or I could see them having the Old Republic push at that time as well.
Yeah, yeah, um,
I think that's really funny then that we would have like we'd be basically pushing further and further away from in both directions at the
mhm,
same time from the midpoint that is the Skywalker saga.
yeah,
So it's like, okay, we've got Rey's new Jedi Order going off over here, and then we've got the Prime Jedi going on over here in the Old
mhm,
Republic and the High Republic. I
but
think Jedi Prime is just the term that is used for like the first Jedi.
yeah,
And it's the semi-mythologized first Jedi, so like it might have
mhm,
been one person, it might have been like a group of people. They just call it the Jedi Prime. I don't
eh,
know if they would call the movie that.
no, that's a working
Then again,
title
I
for
didn't
the
know if they
movie.
would call the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. So
Yeah, but I mean, I think Jedi Prime is more of the working title for the movie, when it comes to the Mangold film. But I could see them doing an Old Republic push, like you said, with pushing outside of the Skywalker saga even more,
right,
and then doing some more stories that bridge the gap because you have a 15-year gap between this end of the sequel trilogy and the start of the new Jedi Order movie. Tell some stories in that 15-year gap about
right.
rebuilding the galaxy, all that stuff.
What's the new government like?
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
in charge? Is it
It,
Poe Dameron?
it's
Is
Poe
it
and Finn.
Kazuda Xiono?
Yes. I don't know if Kaz would be in charge because I think Kaz just likes flying.
But how funny would it be for there to be another Senator Xiono, but he's not the worst man in the room?
But everybody that remembers his dad is like, your dad straight up sucked.
And he's like, yeah, my dad turned out to be First Order or something. I love the Senator Hamato Xiono First Order theory, by the way. I think it's
It's a
great.
great one. It's
It's
a great one.
canon in my heart.
No, it is
Um,
good. I don't like the title. I don't think any of us like the title. Um, I mean, I don't mind the title, but I think it's more of a working title than it is like I honestly think it's going to be called Dawn of the Jedi. I honestly think that's what the movie's going to be called.
we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you ran into Mangold at the Acolyte premiere and didn't
I
tell
did
me.
not.
Okay, I was gonna say James Mangold shows up. Actually, we're gonna screen my new movie real quick.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, the High Republic is one of those things where And I just want to be real right now about. I mean, we've been real all night, but I just want to be real about these the community that surrounds these amazing stories. Um, I talked about this a little bit in my Porter Engel thing that I released yesterday, and I talked about how these books hit at the right time. Um, when we all felt like we were isolated. We were isolated. There was a pandemic going on. Um, and, you know, it felt like it was a dark time, and then Light of the Jedi hit, and we all had something to be excited about again. It was Star Wars, and it was back. And I know a lot of people were pissed off that it was in book form, but you know what? I will take Star Wars books any day.
Absolutely.
But the community that has surrounded this, I thank you and Faye all the time because seriously, you and Faye are amazing pillars in this community. Um,
I do my
and
best.
no, you succeed. You really do. And Maggie is another great one,
Yeah.
and just everybody involved. Of like Mike Siglain, I love how interactive Mike Siglain is on social media with
How,
people.
I love, and this is both to the fans and the people making it. I love
Yeah.
how much um, editor Tom gets involved as
Yes.
well, because
Absolutely.
editors are an underappreciated part of
Hmm.
publishing of
Yeah,
literature.
I agree.
Um, I love how much he gets involved. I love how much the artists of the comics get involved and the cover
Hmm.
artists of the books, because
Yeah.
those are also super underappreciated typically
Oh
in
yeah.
publishing. And as we see more of these pushes towards um, generative slop for things, having this appreciation for the artists, I think, is really important.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I because like I love how people from the community have been becoming parts of the
Hmm.
creative team. Alyssa Wong started out as just a fan of the High Republic, albeit they were already writing Star Wars, but like
Yeah.
they were just a fan.
Yeah.
Um, I remember it. They were standing next to me in line for the High Republic panel at Celebration, and they
Hmm.
were like, "Hey, I'm gonna go wish Daniel good luck. Save me a seat." And I saved them a seat, and then they never took the seat because they went up on stage like a lying liar.
Damn you, Alyssa.
Damn you, Alyssa!
Ah! Yeah, but I love the interaction, and I love how they take our feedback. They
They
know if
do.
we don't like something.
They knew that we liked. Kevin knew that we saw Vildar and Tay, and we were like, something's happening here. And then they were like, okay, it's
He
happening.
confirmed it. He confirmed it. He wrote it in the
In no
story.
uncertain terms.
Yeah. He wrote it in the story.
Yeah,
And and I love it. Like what was really fun is, we talked about Elvar earlier, the Elzar Avar thing. A lot of us knew that that was happening, and we kept pressuring Charles, and the other people were like, look, they have to get together. Like this has to happen.
right. Tessa
Um
Gratton, do not let us down.
exactly. Exactly.
Tessa, I
Um
won't hold it against you if
no,
you don't make it happen, but I
but we'll
will
cry.
question why you did that.
Yeah. We'll cry.
even
Um
if it's even if it's just a brief thing and then by the end of the book they're somehow even worse, that's honestly probably the best way it could go.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it would be better if they are just horrible for each other and they make each other worse by being
Yeah.
together.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I'm so happy. I can't express it. And like
um
they just go away. Oh, thank God they're gone.
oh thank god they're gone. I want to see I want to see all the other characters' reactions to that happening, actually, since we're talking about it. I want to see what Belle thinks, and Bernestra is going to be in this book. So I want to see what Bernestra has to say about her master's two best friends.
You know, Vernestra is just going to be like, I knew it all along.
Because Vernestra is Vernestra
The
herself
other
is
characters do
aromantic and
that.
asexual,
Yeah.
but we know that she is actually really good at like picking up on these
Hmm.
things in other people.
Oh, yeah.
So like she picked up on Preeti having a crush on Imri and Imri having a crush on Avar, which is so funny. And um
Not to mention Wreath having a crush on Vernestra.
and how she pushed Belle and Reese together, and how um and how she, immediately picked up the vibe between Jordana and Syl. Like,
Hmm.
we know that while she herself does not experience any romantic attraction, she very much loves to facilitate it in other people. So I think, but she also has complicated feelings about Avar and Elzar specifically because of her master.
Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
I think she's gonna have this toss up in this book between like, oh, they would be so cute together, but also they're my master's best friends. They're basically my aunt and uncle. Like, this is weird.
I mean, if it worked for Ted and Robin and How I Met Your Mother, like it can work for Avar and Elzar.
I'm so
God, I can't believe
curious
I
how
have
it goes.
the How I
And
Met Your
then
Mother reference.
and then Belle, I don't know how Belle is gonna react to it. I don't know how Belle's gonna take it.
I think Belle is so preoccupied with
I don't know
whatever's
if Belle
going
will
on
even
in his
notice.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know who I
yeah.
think is gonna have a great reaction to it?
Buryaga.
Bury.
Oh yeah, yeah. Burry's gonna throw them a friggin' party
Bury walks in on them making out and just goes, "Ah!"
and hugs them. Just gives
Hugs
them a
them so hard you just
big
hear their
bear hug.
backs crack.
Yeah. Elzar's like, okay, buddy, okay.
Ah,
He almost kills Avar with how strong his hug is.
he would. Uh, I feel he'd be more likely to kill Elzar than Avar.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Because Elzar
uh,
would complain about how much it hurt, and Avar would probably call him a big baby.
yeah, it's it, it's gonna be a very interesting book. Plus, there's like actual plot happening as well.
There is. There is. There's a
The
little
plot.
something to deal with, like the liberation of Naboo or something.
Um, and since we're talking about Wave Two, what do you think are like going to be big events of Wave Two? I think we're
Um,
going to see an expansion of the Blight thing from Defy to
yeah,
Storm.
yeah, I think so.
I think the
Um,
Storm Wall might get bigger again.
Honestly, I think that thing's going down at the end of Wave 2.
I think it's going to be like a desperate last push forward.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
I think
think like
Markiel's going to be panicking by the end of Wave Two. That's for sure.
I think the Stormwall is going to get so big that it actually like finds it actually weakens on its own, which
Yeah,
allows them to come in and start rendering aid.
I
Um,
think that would be actually a really thematically perfect way for them to consistently break through.
mhm,
Would be the Nihil falling to their own hubris. It
yeah,
would be kind of it's like poetry, it rhymes with
mhm,
the Jedi of the prequels being so sure, oh, the Sith can't be coming back, or oh, we can handle the Sith now that they're back.
yeah.
Um, oh, we don't have to worry about the rising tide of the dark side that's clouding our vision. We don't need to trust in visions of the future anyway. It's
No,
it's whatever.
it's stupid. Um, I think we're gonna see that. I think we're going to get they're going to find a way to stop the nameless by the end of wave 2. I think like
That is
we're
an
going to get a solution.
interesting. I can see that. And then
And
like
then
wave 3 is just kind of mopping up.
yeah, I think the nameless is like their big threat for that, and the blight are their big threat for wave 2. And then wave 3 is going to be them just finally taking the fight to Markian and the rest of the Nihil. Um I also see two things. I see a redemption arc for Lorna D. I think
Yes,
Lorna is gonna
I
turn
think she's already
on.
on that path.
Yeah, yeah. Um, she's gonna. I think she's gonna be the one to kill Marky and Row. Um, and then I will also say we're gonna get a throwdown. We're getting one final throwdown between Porter and Vice.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Who do we think is going to finish off Bulin?
Boolin's the scientist, right?
Yes, I think the best end for him would be getting killed by his own creations.
I
But I don't know
agree.
if that's going to be the nameless or the children of the storm. Either would be great.
I would love to see the Scarlet Skulls put an end to him, but that's just me.
Well, I think the Scarlet Skulls are probably going to end up still pretty focused on Niv Drendau,
Hmm.
who I don't think died.
No,
Um,
no,
I know that the last we saw him was he blew up, but like
we didn't see
they're
a
not going to
body.
blow him up.
No, Star Wars has faked so many people's deaths. It's insane.
His
Uh,
collar is too big to die.
the
Star
collar
Wars loves
protected.
faking deaths.
Yeah,
Star Wars, it's a known thing, and we love
hmm,
it for that. It's
yeah,
like
we do.
part of the fun.
It's a giant
Um,
soap opera.
no one is ever dead in Star Wars.
They really aren't. Um, yeah, and then there's one story I do want to see, and because I reread The Blade recently, and now I still I want the Broken Blade like right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you have to see the siege. Like they can't leave that story up in the air.
I wonder if V's is going to have any connection to that.
I think so. I think that they kind of alluded to that in Eye of Darkness.
Also, I never know if I should say V's or my brain always wants to say Vice. Like
Yeah. Like Rachel Weisz.
I always think of Janet Vice. It's
Mhm.
Weiss, Brad. Um, but yeah, either
Okay.
way,
Final prediction: the Lobber is just going to save the day. That's my final prediction.
he's somehow around.
The Lobber is going to take out this creepy looking dog.
The Lobber is establishing that his species lives for hundreds of years.
The Lobber thinks Marky and Rowe is a piece of poodoo.
I mean, he is. He's
Yeah,
right.
he is. He is. He is. He
What do
is.
we think's gonna happen to Gira?
I think she's dying. I don't see a future. I don't see her in the future of the Republic.
Who do you think is dealing the killing blow?
It's gonna be the one that was jealous of Gira and Marky, and I keep forgetting her name. It's like
Thea Fair?
Mark. Yeah, yeah. The like
I
the one
think
that's
Thea or Nan would
yeah.
be.
Um,
Yeah.
honestly, I think the biggest middle finger to it would be if Avon did it, but Avon's not going to do that.
I
It's
don't think
not in her
Avon has.
character.
I think they made it very clear in Defy the Storm that Avon was not going to be doing any more murders.
No, no, no. It's not in her character. It's really not.
Yeah. It could have been, but Defy set her on the
Mhm,
right course.
yeah. Um, yeah, no, I think Gira's going out. I don't see I just don't see it. Like I don't see her surviving wave 3. Like I can barely see her surviving wave 2.
See, I do have this idea that she could be the one to like hand over Markion to whoever kills him.
She could.
Because she's already like on the outs with him.
Like I know I said I think that Lorna would be the one to kill Markion, but my do we really think he's gonna die, or do we think he's just gonna like rot in a prison?
I think it depends on who gets to him first.
Yeah.
Because Lorna, as much as she is having her redemption arc, she's not a Jedi.
No.
She's never going to be a Jedi.
Mm-mm.
And that's okay.
Hmm.
Because cause, cause sometimes you've got to kill the Markion row.
Oh yeah.
But if the Jedi get there first, get there before Lorna or someone else who wants him dead, then I think that they would manage to like take him alive.
So
Because it's the
there.
Jedi way. I don't think
Yeah.
I could also see Markion like trying to fight to the death,
Hmm.
but unlike V's, I don't think that he would make it to that point.
No.
But me,
I
I'd be happy to be surprised by him having like, I don't know, a final duel against Bell with him with Loden's saber and
mhm.
Bell being Bell.
I I was thinking if there's like if there was a Jedi to take him out, I was thinking of three possible choices, and two of them would be together, and that would be Elzar and Avar, just because of the death of Stellan.
Right,
Um, and then I was thinking Bell because of Loden as well.
right.
But I
I
don't.
personally think Bell, because I think he needs a win. That's frankly
Mhm.
what it is.
So so let me ask you this hypothetical, and we'll wrap up here in just a minute. Um, say Bell does kill Markion, right?
Yes.
So say he does it. Does that push Bell to become part of the Lost 20? Because we don't know who the other Lost 20 are besides uh
I
Kevin. Yeah.
I personally don't think so.
You
Um,
think he'd
I
stay in
think
the order?
I think because here's the thing. I think that kind of the whole idea with the Lost 20 is that a lot of them are people who were really, really, really confident in being a Jedi
Hmm.
and then grew disillusioned. Whereas Bell seems to be having the opposite arc. He was not at all confident about becoming a Jedi.
Hmm.
He didn't want to be knighted, even though Loden said he was ready to be knighted by the end of Light of the Jedi.
Hmm.
Um, he was not knighted for another 2 years. Um, and fully by his own choice. And then he was forced to be knighted by the Guardian
Yeah.
protocols.
Yeah.
But I think with what we saw in Eye of Darkness, he absolutely still has these like reservations towards being a Jedi. He's not always sure that he can do a thing, or like he
Hmm.
commits too hard to a thing, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. A good Jedi wouldn't have done that. No, but I think he is coming around so that if he is the one to kill Markion, he'll be like, it's unfortunate that it had to be a loss of life, but it had to be done. He was not stopping fighting. I could not subdue him without killing him.
Yeah.
The galaxy is safer now.
Hmm.
I'm going to go meditate for a couple days. And then I'm going to take my Padawan Kai Brightstar on a trip
With in the Crimson Firehawk. In the Crimson Firehawk.
in the Crimson Fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Um.
we need Bell, Kai, and the Crimson Firehawk to be like Comac, Wreath, and the Vessel.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. With J6 being the geode. Because you already know oh, I'm blanking on her name. Nash. Nash
Yeah.
is like Nash is a lot like Leox in a way.
Oh, real true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nash is like 90s Space McConaughey too. And we didn't even get to them tonight because because we've just been
I
focused on
think
the
for
Jedi.
sure we're gonna see the vessel crew in Tears of the Nameless. I'm
Yeah,
almost
I think
certain.
so. I think
If
so.
they're not in the description, then they're definitely gonna be in the book. Because
I think
Reed's
they're
there.
I think they're also showing up in Young Jedi Adventure season 2.
I would kill for that.
Come on, an episode with Nubs and Geode.
Okay, since we're talking about Young Jedi Adventure season 2, how do you think they're gonna handle the Republic Fair?
Ooh.
Do
Oh
you think they're
man.
going to do like they did with Starlight at first and have it be like they're there to help set up and then they're conveniently not there on the actual day of the fair?
I honestly I think that's the way that I think that's the way they go. Honestly.
Because I
Because
can't see the kids being there
no.
during all that. It's bad enough that Tep Tep, Gavi, and Kildo were there.
Yeah. Yeah, um yeah, honestly, I just feel like it's one of those things where I don't think they want people, especially kids, to see that just yet.
Right.
Because I mean, let's face it, that is real heavy.
One of the heaviest parts of phase one.
Yeah. That and the fall
Yeah.
of the beacon. Um, I don't want to see them get traumatized. Those kids, uh, you can have you can have a Star Wars story that does not have people getting traumatized. Um, you can. You really can. It's
You
called
really
Young
can.
Jedi Adventures.
And it's
Um,
great.
yeah.
I think I think they'll obviously keep them, out of harm's way.
Hmm.
I'm just wondering because I don't know. I'd be fine if they just kind of ignored the Republic Fair because of
Hmm.
Rising
Yeah.
Storm, but I would like to see like the Lonisa City Zoo,
Hmm.
Ram Jomaram,
Yeah.
Tep Tep Kildo Gabby.
Like they I agree with you. Like I would love to see them like set up for the fair, like maybe setting up like the Republic Pavilion because
Yeah,
or
maybe
like
there
the
could
Starlight
be
Pavilion.
a Tanu Pavilion and they're setting it
Hmm.
up and then they
Yeah,
go home. And that could be great.
exactly.
And they
Um
have a little adventure when something escapes from the zoo and Liz has to calm it down and get
yeah.
it back into its enclosure.
And then like if you're gonna have one character at the Republic Fair, have Zia there for a little bit, but like have her leave before the events happen. Honestly,
Yeah,
and then if you do try to address it, just say, "Hey, something something bad happened at the fair, and let's not talk about it." But honestly, like you could, because we already have a children's book about the attack on the Republic Fair. It's
right,
Showdown at the Fair. So like you could address it, but you need to do it in a heroic manner like they did with Buryaga in that book.
right.
Yeah. Um, if they want to go that route. I'm also wondering how the hell are they going to address Starlight Beacon?
That is a great question that I don't have an answer for
Yeah.
because they're sure as hell not going to be there.
No.
But even if they were there, we know that Emmerich got the younglings off of Starlight Beacon. We know
Yes.
that no younglings went down with Starlight Beacon.
Yes.
So at
Um,
least we have that going for us,
because
which is nice.
you could see them on Tanu with Emmerich. Like just like landing on Tanu or something like that.
But then it's still like they had to be there when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I sure about what? That all the younglings made it off of
Oh, no, they all
Starlight
made it
Beacon?
off because, I
They
mean,
yeah, they made it pretty clear that like they got the whole youngling
yeah.
class out.
And the authors have said, like, they got out. Like, they weren't gonna kill that many
They had a
kids.
bunch of younglings packed into that ship.
No,
And
yeah, they
there are
did.
not that many Jedi on Starlight Beacon,
No, no.
all things
So
considered.
yeah, they got them all out
There's
there.
like one class of younglings there.
Um, but yeah, like, how would you address that? Like, hopefully they don't. You know? Um,
I mean, on the one hand, hopefully the kids don't get, hurt, traumatized. On the
mhm,
other hand, I do think that the Young Jedi Adventures writing team is good enough to find a way to handle it in
oh,
an
yeah.
age appropriate way that is also like kids experience severe trauma and that kind of thing,
There was an episode
and it's
about
important to see.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, an episode of Bluey tackled that with Sleepy Time.
yeah.
Um,
There's like it's important to have those things in kids media.
yeah,
It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
no,
I mean, a big part of season one of Young Jedi Adventures is like um is the kind of message of like you don't have to be perfect, you're gonna mess up, you're going
mhm,
to fall down.
mhm,
um the important thing is that you get back up, the important thing is that you ask for help when you need it, and
mhm,
you know figure out what
yeah,
to do next.
yeah,
And I think that that could very much just be reinforced by Starlight Beacon as long as they're like safe from Starlight
yeah,
Beacon.
absolutely.
I probably don't want to have like the fall of Starlight Beacon on screen,
No, no,
but um, we could have kind of the aftermath of it, like with the earthquake episode in season one of Young Jedi Adventures,
mhm,
where it's like, okay, here's the aftermath of this disaster. What do we do next? How do we fix things? How do we start rebuilding? How do we handle
yeah,
this?
because you could have them like providing humanitarian aid on Iram and Arano.
Yeah, you,
Yeah,
you could have them being like, hey, Prince Cyrus, our good friend, can you use your prince money to help us get some medical supplies to Iram?
yeah,
And then he's he's like, well, I can't use my prince money, but luckily I have another way to get medical supplies.
yeah. So I mean, it's all up in the air, really.
I think that they could handle it well.
Mhm,
I'm not afraid that they'll handle it poorly. I'm just wondering
no.
if they'll handle it at all.
Yeah, because I also wanna see, like, this last thing, I wanna see how if they mention the occlusion zone too.
I think it would be interesting if like maybe season 3 of Young Jedi Adventures is on Coruscant and they kind of mention that like, oh, since everything happened with Starlight Beacon, the Outer Rim's off limits right now, so we'll have some adventures around Coruscant for a bit. And then when things open back up again at the end,
Yeah.
because we do know from the Living Force that like
Mhm.
they do keep the outposts open afterwards,
Yeah,
at least for some time.
mhm.
They do still have Jedi on the Rim.
Yeah,
So I can see them going back to Tanu afterwards.
because the Great Renewal is, like, one of the big things that
Yeah,
happens. Yeah.
so I can see them going back to Tanu afterwards.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Well, we shall see.
we shall see.
We shall
Time
see.
will tell. Time always tells.
Yes. Yes. So, for our next live show, well, 2 weeks from now, so we were gonna do a live show on the 8th, but because I have to do my troop thing, we're looking at the 5th to
So
talk
the
about
day
Acolyte.
after
Yes.
the release.
The day after the release of the
I
Acolyte.
would love that.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd be able to video it, but I could audio in for that one.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you need to do, we'll talk about it. But yeah, that way it's really fresh in our minds because it's right there. Because I'm probably not gonna watch it till Wednesday anyway.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, that way we can talk about episodes 1 and 2, and then for the following week we'll go back to Saturday for that. Um, we'll go
gosh, and
back
then
to
we're gonna have
Saturday
more
for
High
that.
Republic every week for a couple weeks.
We are, and that's going to be a lovely thing. That is
That's
going to be a very lovely
crazy.
thing.
That's
Um,
never happened.
no, 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 no. We have never really gotten this because, like, Young Jedi Adventures, like all those episodes just drop at the same
Yeah, they
time.
did drops.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to like coincide that with a with a High Republic release.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. Looking at getting a few people lined up for it. I believe Matt is going to be joining us. I got to reach out to him about doing that on a Wednesday night.
very nice.
Yeah, and I believe Ira is going to try to come back for that as well. And then, of course, you, me, and then hopefully Faye. So we get a pretty good round table to geek out about our favorite era of Star Wars, even though Matt has not read any High Republic, and I continue to tell him while you're working on your shields and stuff, just listen to Light of the Jedi. Just listen to it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book. Can't wait to see you all. Yeah, John, we can't wait to see you either. I mean in chat, in chat. But yeah, so we're going to continue our road to the Acolyte next week, and I believe we're going to be doing some character studies next. I think that's what we're going to do. I believe we need to focus on a certain Mary Allen Jedi that is going to be in the Acolytes, and I think we should talk about her a little bit next week.
Adi Sunzi.
Sure, bless you. Yeah, I
There's a lot of
really,
Mary Ellen Jedi.
yeah, yeah, there really are. Barris was one. Um,
This is true. So
yes,
was Luminara.
yes, Luminara was one. Um, but yeah, so I want to like focus more on some High Republic characters as we continue our march to the Acolyte. I believe this week coming up, I'm going to release an audio about some Phase 2 characters. Hopefully Crichton and Ada, because I think that would be a lot of fun to talk about them.
My best friends.
I love them so much. I love them so much. Talk about shipping. Like, I would have shipped those two in a heartbeat, by the way.
I I guess I could have, but I really like them just as really good friends. Because
No,
I
they were.
liked Ada's like gentle ribbing him for
Mhm.
the ambassador hitting on him.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Actually, no, you're right. If I was going to ship Crichton with anybody, it would have been Salandra because they have that chemistry.
I do like cilantro. She's great.
Cilantro. Yeah. Oh, Amanda, we're wrapping up. I'm so sorry. So
It's
sorry.
okay, the internet's forever.
The internet is forever, and I'm going to try to extract the audio. That way we can do an audio this week too for the live
Very nice.
show. So yeah, that is it for us. I'm going to go to bed. Um, yeah, and spend tomorrow playing some Spider-Man 2 after work probably, and some.
Very nice.
Yeah, that game's taken up a lot of my time. 21 hours of my time so far, swinging
Understandable.
around New York City. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for us this week. Hope that you all have a wonderful week. Remember, may the force be with you. May you always fight for light in life. And remember, at the end of the day, we're all the Republic. We'll see you later. Bye.